Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So welcome to another session of Auspicious Days in Sanatana Dharma. So we should have had this session last week on the 13th, because the Sangramanam, the Simhamasa Sangramanam was on the 16th of August. But because I was busy, I couldn't have that class, live class, or I couldn't give recording. So that is why we are having it 1 week late. But the Sankramanam happened on the 16th of August. So this month is called as Simhamasam. So why is this month called Simhamasam? Because the sun, the Surya Graha, it is present in the Simha Rashi. So Simha Rashi la Surya irukkiradhanaala this month is called as Simhamasam. நம்ம தமிழ்ல ஆவணி மாசம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Beginning of this month itself, so Adi, Aavani, the 2 months of Adi and Aavani, you will get lot of festivals. So beginning of this month itself, on the 18th was Krishna Janmashtami. So some people celebrated it on the 19th. Some people celebrated it on the 18th. We will briefly see why the differences arose. Even though it is past now, but as a general knowledge, we can know. So Krishna, he was born on Ashtami Tithi and Rohini Nakshatra. So Krishna's birth chart pathomna Ashtami Tithi layum Rohini Nakshatrathlayum pirandar. So some sampradayas will celebrate his Jayanti on the Ashtami Tithi. That is why we have the terms like Krishna Janmashtami, abdinla solluvom. So for those people who celebrated it based on Tithi, they celebrated it on the 18th. Because on that day, Ashtami Tithi is present in the midnight. For those people who celebrated based on the Nakshatra, Rohini Nakshatram, they celebrated it on the Friday, yesterday, because yesterday Rohini Nakshatra was present in the midnight. So that is why the differences arose. And in both days we can celebrate, depending on your Sampradaya. For mostly Smarta Sampradaya from South India, Smarta Sampradaya, they celebrate Janmashtami. That is why the name itself has got Ashtami. They celebrated it on Ashtami. For people who are present in North India and Sri Vaishnavas, they celebrate it based on the Nakshatra, Rohini Nakshatra. So they call the same Jayanti as Krishna Jayanti. So Krishna Jayanti is different, Janmashtami is different. Sri Jayanti, Krishna Jayanti is based on Rohini Nakshatra. Janmashtami, it is based on Ashtami Tithi. Both are the Jayanti, the birthday of Krishna. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So that we know. We celebrate in South India, we celebrate, we even put a kolam, kal kolam allam pottu, we celebrate. And we make nice bhakshanams as well. One more thing that we normally don't celebrate is the next day of Janmashtami. The next day of Janmashtami, Durga Parameshwari has born in the same house. Nanda Gopa Grihe Jata Yashoda Garbha Sambhava, says Devi Mahatmya. So we all know the story, right? Krishna was born to Devaki, but Devaki Vasudeva, he took Krishna from jail, from the Karagraham. He went to Nandagopa's house, and then in the Nandagopa's house there was a female baby to Yashoda. So that female baby is none other than Ambal, Lokamaya, Mahamaya. Nandagopa Grihe Jata Yashoda Garbha Sambhava. So Ambal was born to Nandagopa and Yashoda, and Ambal is born in the next day. So Navami Tithi la Ambal Parakara. So Tithi is different. So the next day of Janmashtami, for those who do Ambal Upasana, Shri Vidya Upasana or any Ambal Upasana, they worship Ambal, Durga Parameshwari on the next day, which is not very popular in public parlance, but this is something that we can know, and then we can celebrate Ambal's Jayanti as well. Because Ambal is called as the Sodari. Yeah, Ambal is called as the Sodari, Tangachi, or younger sister of Vishnu, Krishna. This is why Ambal is called as the younger sister of Krishna. So this is something that we can all celebrate. And after that, the 22nd, August 22nd, this Monday, is Ekadashi day. Even this Monday, this Ekadashi is little bit special because it comes with Arudra Nakshatram. Ekadashi is, normally Ekadashi is considered to be special for Mahavishnu. Arudra Nakshatram is considered special for Parameshwara. So this Monday, both Ekadashi and Arudra Nakshatram comes together. So Ekadashi Vratam, very, very good day for observing Ekadashi Vratam. So before that itself, this month of Simha Masa, or Tamil Aavani Masam, this month is very, very auspicious for doing Surya Upasana. ஆவணி ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமைகள்ல சூரிய நமஸ்காரம் பண்றது, சூரிய நவகிரகத்துக்கு பிரதட்சணம் பண்றது, இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப விசேஷம். The Sundays of the month of Aavani or Simha Masa is very, very auspicious to do Surya Upasana. So people who know Veda mantras, who can chant, they can chant Aruna Prashnam அப்படின்னு இருக்கு. வேதத்துல அருண பிரஷ்னம் அப்படின்னு ஒரு, there is a part called as Aruna Prashnam. So people do about 135 namaskaras, Surya namaskaras பண்ணுவா. Then 35 namaskaras, the same mantra you can do with 135, about 132, 133 namaskaras, or 32, 33 namaskaras they do. So people who don't know that, they can chant Aditya Hridaya Stotram, which is for Suryan, or the Dwadasha Namas of Aditya, Mitraya Namaha, Raviye Namaha, like that. There are 12 names for Surya. So they can chant these 12 names. They can do Namaskara for Surya. Namaskara Priyo Bhanuhu. Shastram solra. Shastra says, Abhisheka Priyo Rudraha. Namaskara Priyo Abhisheka Priyo Rudraha. Alankara Priyo Vishnuhu. Namaskara Priyo Bhanuhu, says the shloka. So Rudra, Parameshwara, is Abhisheka Priya. He gets so happy if you do Abhishekam. That is why if you go to Shivan temple, they will do Abhishekam 6 times a day. Alankara Priyo Vishnuhu. If you go to Perumal temple, they don't do Abhishekam at all. Probably once or twice in a year they do. Or maybe once in a month they do. But they will do nice Alankara. So Vishnu, he gets happy by doing Alankara. Namaskara Priyo Bhanu. For Surya, he is Namaskara Priya. If you do Namaskaram, you get a lot of benefits. And Suryan is a deity which we have to worship right now. Because of the pandemic and all, Arogyam is very, very important. Another shloka says, Arogyam Bhaskaradichet, Shriyamichet Hutashana. If you want Jnanam, then you have to worship Parameshwara. If you want Jnanam, knowledge, then Parameshwara has to be worshipped. If you want a nice Arogyam, Surya Bhagavan has to be worshipped. If you want money, then Agni Upasana has to be done. That is why Kartalayam Sayangalamum Valaketharadhu அப்படின்னு வச்சுருக்கோம். Because it is Ambal is present in Agri. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarnarajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Maavaha. Jatavedas is another same name for Agni. So Agni Upasana has to be done if you want more money. So that is why you don't have to do big yajnam and all. Just lamping, just lighting the lamp with the sesame oil or ghee. We don't accept. Shastra does not accept in the nowadays. They sell lot of other oils. Oil for lighting lamp ne vechinu. Shastra does not accept that. If you want to use, you can use it anywhere else, but not in the puja graham. Puja graham, it has to be nallennai, sesame oil or ghee. So if you light a lamp with the nallennai, so that is going to bring shriyam, means money. Mokshamitte Janardana. If you want to moksha, Janardana has to be worshipped, says the shloka. So Arogyam Bhaskara Dichet. So if you want a nice Arogyam, Surya Bhagavan has to be worshipped. So Surya Bhagavan doing Surya Namaskara, it is also good for eyes. They say, Kangetta Peragu Surya Namaskaram Panni Enna Prayojanamnu Vachaname irukku. So Surya Namaskara, it's good for eyes. And I normally don't want to talk about science in explaining Shastra, but here I think I can do it. Even according to science, they say vitamin D is given by sunlight. You know, everybody in North India, they have vitamin D deficiency. They say, okay, you have to take vitamin D through milk, through juice. They add vitamin D supplement everywhere. But Surya is the natural source of vitamin D. The sunlight, it converts ergosterol. That is a chemical in your skin called as ergosterol. So that sunlight, it converts the ergosterol into vitamin D, which is very much essential for good health. So you can easily get vitamin D by doing Surya Namaskara, Arogyam Bhaskara Dichet. So you can chant all these shlokas. There is another shloka which is recommended by Mahapiriyava. It is called as Surya Shatakam. Surya Shatakam is the shloka. It is written by a Kavi called as Mayura Kavi. So Surya Shatakam, written by Mayura Kavi. It is supposed to bring you lot of arogyam. It is supposed to bring you eye health. Eyesight will be very much better. They say a story. I don't remember the temple now. But in that temple only, the Mayura Kavi has composed this Surya Shatakam. One time, there was a great singer called as Pittukuli Murugadas. His eyesight was declining, and he approached Mahapiriyava. He asked Mahapiriyava what to do. And Mahapiriyava prescribed Parayanam of the Surya Shatakam to Pittukuli Murugadas. He actually did that, and his eyesight got a little bit better. And that's why they say he has engraved the 100 shlokas of Surya Shatakam in that temple, either in that temple or in that kolakare, in that pond. Around that pond, he has engraved abdin solluva. So if you know Surya Shatakam, then you can chant Surya Shatakam as well. If not, Aditya Hridayam, everybody knows Aditya Hridayam, you can chant the 12 names of Surya, Mitraya Namaha, Ravaye Namaha, Suryaya Namaha. The 12 names everybody can chant and do Namaskaram. Aruna Prashnam, it is always there. You can chant and do Namaskaram. So, but the end thing is that Aavani Masam Nyayatrukiramai, Aavani Nyayatrukiramai, Surya Upasana is very, very beneficial. So that is on 21st to 28th, all the Sundays. So 22nd is Ekadashi, we know. 24th comes Pradosham, and 26th comes Amavasya. 24th comes Pradosham, 26th comes Amavasya, and after that 30th of August. So whatever I am telling is for the year 2022. 30th of August 2022 is Ganesha Chaturthi. I just want to dwell on Ganesha Chaturthi a little bit. And we will see how, according to Shastra, Ganesha Chaturthi has to be celebrated. What is the meaning behind doing Ganesha Chaturthi in clay and all? We will see. Ganesha, we all know the deity, the first and foremost deity that everybody worships before starting any action is worshipping Ganesha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye அப்படின்னு மந்திரம் சொல்லி நம்ம தலையில குட்டிக்கிறோம். In Deivathin Kural, Mahaperiyava has talked a lot about Mahaganapati. In fact, this is a shloka we all know. Shuklam Bharadaram, Vishnum, Shashivarnam, Chaturbhujam, Prasannavadanam, Dhyayet, Sarva Vigna, Upashantaye. We all know the shloka. Mahaperiyava has spent a lot of pages in explaining the meaning of the shloka. If you have time, then read that part of Deivathin Kural, where Mahaperiyava explains the meaning of Shuklam Bradaram Vishnu Shloka. This is a shloka everybody takes for granted. But if you read that meaning, it will change your perspective about Mahaganapati. Also, in Deivathin Kural, Mahaperiyava explains about the 16 names of Mahaganapati. Sumukaya Namaha, Ekadantaya Namaha, Kapilaya Namaha, Gajakarnakaya Namaha. அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, 16 names of Mahaganapati. Each and every name he takes, Sumukaya Namaha. What is the meaning? Not like one word meaning or meaning in one sentence. Meaning in several chapters he explains. For all the 16 names, he also explains the Palashruti. Vidyarambe, Vivahecha, the Shodashaitani Namani, and there is a Palashruti for 16 names. And Mahaperiyava explains the Palashruti as well. He takes the example of Parameshwara. He takes the example of Muruga. So he explains the Palashruti beautifully in his own characteristic way. Mahaperiyava explains all the meanings of all the names in Deivathin Kural. So if you have time, if you have access to that part of Deivathin Kural, please go and read before the Ganesha Chaturthi, or at least on the day of Ganesha Chaturthi. And Mahaperiyava also talks about Vinayagar Agaval. Mahaperiyava holds very high this text of Vinayagar Agaval. Mahaperiyava holds very high, and whatever we are going to speak now, we are going to listen now, it is kind of related to Vinayagar Agaval as well. Because Vinayagar Agaval is a great yogic text. மூலாதாரத்தில் மூண்டெழுங்கணலை காலால் எழுப்பும் கருத்தை அறிவித்து. மூலாதாரத்தில் மூண்டெழுங்கணல் is Kundalini Shakti. காலால் எழுப்பும் கருத்தை அறிவித்து. Kal means, it does not mean the literal feet. In Tamil, the air is called as Kal. So when you do pranayamam, the Kundalini Shakti arises from Mooladhara Chakra. And it goes its own way. We are not going to go very deep into that process. But Mahaperiyava says in Deivathin Kural that this Vinayagar Agaval, even if you don't understand the meaning, please keep on chanting the Vinayagar Agaval. At one day or the other, by the grace of Guru, by the grace of Bhagavan, you will come to know the real meaning of Vinayagar Agaval. But just because you don't know the meaning, please don't stop chanting Vinayagar Agaval, says Mahaperiyava and Deivathin Kural. So if you have access to Vinayagar Agaval, please read Vinayagar Agaval as well. It will make Mahaperiyava very, very happy. But now coming back to how to celebrate Vinayagar Chaturthi. In those days, Vinayagar Chaturthi was celebrated by making Ganesha idol. Even now we celebrate, we make a Ganesha idol, we worship Vinayakar, And then depending upon where you are, in Maharashtra, they have 10 days Utsavam. In Tamil Nadu, we'll have 3 days or 5 days. Or next day, people do Visarjan. That is all is okay. But now what has changed is that in those days, the idols were made with clay. The idols were primarily made with either clay or the cow dung. So those are the two materials with which idols are made. Nowadays, we use lot of synthetic chemicals, lot of synthetic paints and all to make Ganesha. That is completely wrong. According to Shastra, that is wrong. According to environment science, that is wrong. Both according to Shastra, according to environmental science, that is completely wrong. We should never use any chemical to worship Mahaganapati. It is not only for the sake of environmental studies, environmental science, but worshipping Mahaganapati with clay has got a very deep meaning inside to it, which is what we are going to see very, very briefly. Worshipping Mahaganapati with clay has got very, very deep meaning. If you go to any Shiva temple, like traditional Shiva temple in Tamil Nadu, they will have a Dvajastambam அப்படின்னு ஒன்று வச்சிருப்பா. Dvajastambam called as Kodimaram அப்படின்னு ஒன்று இருக்கும். And beneath the Kodimaram, there will be a small Sannidhi. And irrespective of temple, either it is Shiva temple or Ambal temple, the Swami there will be Mahaganapati. And that Mahaganapati has got a name. The name of that Mahaganapati is called as Mooladhara Ganapati. You go to any temple, that Ganapati's name will not change. In some temple, they will have a board that says Mooladhara Ganapati. In many temples, they don't have the name. But that Ganapati is called as Mooladhara Ganapati. Even if it is Shiva temple, even if it is Ambal Sannidhi, it does not matter. That Ganapati is called as Mooladhara Ganapati. Because Mahaganapati is the Adhisthana Devata for Mooladhara Chakram. Tvam Mooladhare Sthitosi Nityam, says Ganapati Atharva Sirishatu. Tvam Mooladhare Sthitosi. Tvam Nityam Mooladhare Sthitosi. You are present in Mooladhara Chakra, always, says Vedas. So Mahaganapati is present in the Mooladhara Chakram, and each Chakram is associated with a element, with a Panchabhuta. And the Mooladhara Chakram is associated with Prithvi Tattvam, Prithvi Earth. So Mooladhara Chakram, it is associated with Prithvi Tattvam. That is why while chanting Ganapati Atharva Sirishat itself, when they say Badram Garne Bishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatraha, they say the whole Shanti Pada, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, Om Lam Namaste Ganapataye Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. They say Om Lam, that Bija Lam, it is associated with the Mooladhara Chakra. The Bija Lam, it is associated with Prithvi Tattvam as well. Those who have taken any mantra japa, in a traditional manner, like Panchakshari, Navakshari, or Mahaganapati mantra, everybody should take. Nowadays, people don't take that, but everybody should take. But if those people who take japam, they do something called as Pancha Puja. Lam Prithvyatmane Gandham Samarpayami, Ham Akashatmane Pushpaihi Pujayami, Yam Vaivatmane Dhupamagrapayami, Ram Agnyatmane Deepam Sandarshayami, Vam Amritatmane Amritam Mahane Vedyam Nivedayami, Sam Sarvatmane Sarvopachara Pujan Samarpayami. He say, Lam Prithvyatmane. So the bija lam, it is connected to Prithvi Tattvam. Ham Akashatmane, the bija ham, it is connected to Akasha Tattvam. Ram Agnyatmane, the bija ram, it is connected to Agni. So each bija is connected to each tattva, and each tattva is connected to each chakra, and each chakra is connected to each devata. So for Mooladhara chakra, the bija is lam. For Mooladhara chakra, the bija is lam. The Murti is Ganapati. Devata is Ganapati. And the element is Prithvi. And the element for Mooladhara chakra is Prithvi. So that is why Prithvi and Mahaganapati are connected. And that is why we should only use clay or Gomayam. Because Gomayam, it is also, according to Shastra, it has got a Gandha element in it. So either Gomayam or clay. Only these two materials can be used for doing Ganapati Puja. We should not use any other synthetic chemicals for doing Mahaganapati Puja, which I wanted to stress. Apart from that, we all do, there is a Puja Paddhati. We can just follow the Puja Paddhati, do Mahaganapati Puja, and Ganesha Sahasranama is there. Why all Vinayagar Agaval is there. Mahapariva talks about Vinayagar Agaval a lot. He says Vinayagar Agaval, even every week, regularly Vinayagar Agaval, Mahapariva says it can be chanted on Fridays. So this thing many people won't know. Mahapariva says in Devatin Kural, Vinayagar Agaval, it has to be chanted on Fridays in a nearby temple. Abdine solrar. After this class, we will share all those relevant portions from Devatin Kural in the group. But so Vinayagar Agaval, people can chant. So that Mahaganapati Utsavam, it starts on Tuesday, Ganapati Chaturthi. And Wednesday is Rishi Panchami Vratham. So this Rishi Panchami Vratham, it has to be celebrated by elderly women. So it is a great Vratham exclusively for women. Please refer to your family guru. Because there are some rules and regulations associated with the following Rishi Panchami Vratham. It has to be followed for this many years. So Aathu Periyavalta kelungo, Aathu Vadhyarta kelungo, Rishi Panchami Vratham eppadi follow pandrathu, edukkaga follow pandrathu, adella Aathu Vadhyar nanna solluvar. So refer to your Aathu Periyava or Aathu Vadhyar if you want to follow Rishi Panchami Vratham. Sashti, it happens on September 1st, Shukla Shashti. And on September 3rd, September 2nd evening, September 3rd Saturday, Anusham is also there. So Anusham Mahaparivalka, Anusha Pujaigallam Naraya Nadakaradu. So that happens on the September 3rd. And another thing that in this month everybody has to follow, which normally people overlook, not overlook because they are not aware of that, they are not made aware of that, is Shravanadwadashi Vratham. Normally, we do Vratham on Ekadashi day. Ekadashi Vratham, nowadays many people have started to follow. Mahapariva, he talks a lot about following Ekadashi Vratham as well in Devatin Kural. If we see in Devatin Kural, he talks about the different Ekadashis. Enna Ekadashi irukku. What are the different levels of Ekadashi Vratham? Okay, the Uttamana Vratham is without any food, not even drinking water. But next level, you can drink water, you can drink some fruits, fruit juices, eat some fruits. At least Kadasi Paksham, rice avadu saapdama irukkanum. Appdin Mahapariva solra Devatin Kuralla. So Ekadashi Vratham that everybody has to follow. There are some special days where Dwadashi comes along with Shravana Nakshatra. If Dwadasi comes along with Shravana Nakshatra, that is a great Punya Kala. It is called as Shravana Dwadasi. Abdina Shastrathila, it has given a separate name. Shravana Dwadasi. That happens, that normally happens during Onam. Onam kondadram liya. Onam is nothing but Shravanam. Thiruvonam da Onam na ayiruk. There are two nakshatras in Tamil that has got the prefix of Thiru. Thiruvadirai. Adirai, Thiruvadirai. The nakshatra is called as Adirai, but it is normally, we call it as Thiruvadirai. And then Onam, Thiruvonam. Thiruvadirai is for Parameshwara. Thiruvonam is for Mahavishnu. So Thiruvonam. And that is why the Pandiga is also called as Onam. Vamana Jayanti. Normally, on Vamana Jayanti, it will be a Dwadasi. So Vamana Jayanti, it is called as Shravana Dwadasi Punyakalam. Vamana Jayanti ki per. And during Shravana Dwadasi, Shastra explicitly say, if the Dwadasi comes along with Shravana Nakshatra, then the Ekadasi fasting has to be done on the Dwadasi day. Shastra say if you can fast for both days, then you do fasting for both days, both Ekadasi and Dwadasi. But if you cannot do fasting for both days, then the regular Ekadasi fasting, it has to be done on Dwadasi day, says Shastra. Shuklava yediva Krishna, Dwadashi Shravananvita, Tayorevo Tayorevaha Upavasa Deva, Trayodashyam tu Paranam. Ekadashyam Tadvidyam Dwadashyam Shravanam Yadi, Upeshya Dwadashi Punya, Sarvapapa Kshaya Vaha, says the shloka. So, if Dwadasi comes along with Shravana Nakshatra, then Ekadashi Vratam has to be done on that Dwadashi day. Ekadashi you can eat. Ekadashi, if you can fast on both days, please fast on both days. But if you cannot do, then the Dwadasi, Shravana Dwadasi Vratam has to be observed. Even in Smriti, it says that Ekadasi you don't have to follow the Vratam. That Dwadasi you have to follow the Vratam. It happens normally once or maybe twice in a year. Shravana Dwadasi does not come that often. Normally once it comes on the Onam. அந்த நம்ம திருவோணம் ஓணம் ஃபெஸ்டிவல் கொண்டாடுறோம் இல்லையா, அன்னைக்கு தான் வரும் ஸ்ரவண துவாதசிங்கிறது. அன்பார்ச்சுனேட்லி தட் ஓணம் சத்தி அப்படின்னு அன்னைக்கு தான் எல்லாம் இலையில நிறைய வச்சு சாப்பிடுவா. பட் சாஸ்திரா சேஸ் it should not be done like that. It has to be followed. You have to follow Ekadashi Vratam on that day. And this year, on September 7th, it is also a Pradosham day. So previous Ekadashi, we saw Ekadashi came on Arudra Nakshatram day. So here Dwadasi, it comes on Pradosham day. So Shravana Dwadasi along with Pradosham it comes. So it is a great Punya Kalam for both Shiva and for Mahavishnu. So more reasons to observe Vratam on this Shravana Dwadasi day. So I hope that everybody can follow, at least if you don't fast on normal Ekadashi day, at least on Shravana Dwadasi if we follow, and if we do Nama Sankirtanam. So this, because it is Pradosham as well, we can do both Vishnu Nama Harinama Sankirtanam and Shiva Nama Sankirtanam. So we do Nama Sankirtanam. That day is Vamana Jayanti as well. So people do Vamana Puja on that day. Chanting Sahasranamam, chanting Nama Sankirtanam. They all are very, very beneficial on the Shravana Dwadasi day. That is something that I wanted to bring to notice. And then comes on the 9th Friday, it is Paurnami. 9th Friday, it is Paurnami. And from 10th onwards, Mahalaya Paksham begins. From 10th September 2022, Saturday onwards, Mahalaya Paksham begins. So this Mahalaya Paksham, it is very, 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 very important for Pitrus Panchama Parapaksham. So it is very, 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 very important for Pitrus. So on the Pitrukalukku, Nityam, so on all the 15 plus 1, 16 days, if we could do Tarpanam, that is very, very great. So doing Tarpanam on all the 16 days, it is very, very great. So Mahalaya Shraddham abdine pannuva. So we have to do Mahalaya Shraddham. There are some rules and regulations that we have to follow on the Mahalaya Paksham. One is, don't eat onion and garlic, at least on the Mahalaya Paksham. So Mahalaya Pakshathila பூண்டு வெங்காயங்கள்லாம் சாப்பிடப்படாது, because it is Pitru Paksham. On all the 15 plus 1, 16 days, Pitrus, they come to our house, says Shastra. That is the annual cleaning day. நம்ம எப்படி ஸ்ப்ரிங் கிளீனிங், சம்மர் கிளீனிங்லாம் வீட்டை பண்ணுறோமோ, அந்த மாதிரி பித்ருலோகத்தோட கிளீனிங் டேயா மகாலய பட்சம்ங்கிறது. So 15 days they have holidays, so they are visiting, they will be visiting their houses. So on those 15 days, the niyamas for Shraddha that we have to follow. 15 days me Shraddham pannanumgradhan Shastram. Mahalaya Shraddham, at least now we are doing it for one day. So please do according to your family tradition. Please don't eat onion and garlic on those Mahalaya Paksham days. And some other thing that males can follow is to not shave on those 15 days. Normally, according to Shastra, daily shaving one should not do. Daily shaving you are not supposed to do. You can only shave once in a month, or 30 or 40 days only you can do shaving. எப்படி நம்ம கல்யாணத்துக்கு நாள் பார்க்குறோமோ அந்த மாதிரி ஷேவிங்க்கு there are certain rules and regulations associated with it. You cannot do in any nakshatra. You cannot do in any tithi. So there are some rules and regulations for when to shave. அப்படிங்கிறது rules and regulations இருக்கு. So normally itself only once in a month தான் shave பண்ணணும். On Malaya Paksham, because it is Pitru Paksha, you should not shave at all. So nowadays many people are working from home. They don't have to go to office. And at least in this part of the world, if you don't shave, people, they just don't care. So obviously shave பண்ணிட்டு தான் வரணும் அப்படின்னு not everybody has got that rule. Some people might have got some compulsion to shave daily, but other people, we don't have to shave daily. So if you are in that type of office where you don't need to shave, then at least for Malaya Paksham, let's not shave. You are saving time. By not shaving, you are saving time. You are not going to lose anything. So you can shave. If you are retired, it is even better. There is no office compulsion. So you can just have beard for 15 days. It is not going to hurt anybody. More than that, we are following Shastra. Right? Following Shastra is the first and foremost goal. It has to be the first and foremost goal. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Nehabhikarmana shaste pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat, trayate mahato bhayat. Swadharmam nidanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha, also says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Swadharmam nidanam shreyaha. If we follow our own dharma, it is always shreyaskaram. Paradharmo bhayavaha. If we leave our dharma, if we go and voluntarily follow somebody else's dharma, it is the cause of bhayam. Why? Because we are doing two wrong things. Number one, we are not following our own dharma. We are not doing what has to be done. Number two, we are doing something which is not to be done. So the crime is only same. Say for the same crime, 2 times punishment. Just like how in a car, if the passenger is not wearing seat belt, apparently somebody said that both the driver and passenger will be fined. I haven't verified that. The crime is the same. The passenger is not wearing seat belt in the front seat. But for that, apparently the police can fine you twice. He can fine the driver and he can fine the passenger. Why? The driver, he has not done his due diligence. He has to make sure the passenger is wearing the seat belt. So for that, the driver will be fined. The passenger, because he is not wearing seat belt, the passenger can also be fined. So for the same crime, there will be 2 punishments. In the same way, if we don't do our dharma, that is only one crime, we will get 2 types of papam. So papam for not doing what is to be done, and papam for doing which is not to be done. Doing things which is not to be done, says Shastra. So at least small dharmas. That is why Krishna says, Neha Vikramana Shaste Pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya. Even if you follow your own dharma a little bit, then trayate mahato bayat, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Then we don't, it can even get rid of your samsara bayam, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So these are very, very small dharmas that we can follow. I am pretty sure there will be many lectures from Veda Dharma Shastra Paripalana Sabha, past lectures, and for this year as well. We will forward those lectures to you. Those lectures will be in Tamil, where they talk about the ritualistic aspects of Mahalaya Paksha, because Mahalaya Paksha Shraddha Vidhi, it is so vast. And Veda Dharma Shastra Paripalana Sabha, they invite several great Mahans, several authorities in Dharma Shastra, and they will give lectures on how to follow, how to do Mahalaya Paksha Tarpanam, what are all the things that has to be done. So whatever I said about not eating onion and garlic, having beard, it is just very, very small point. So Mahalaya Paksha Dharma, it is even more than that. So I'm pretty sure the past lectures, I know that they are there. And I'm pretty sure for this year as well, when we near that date, there will be some lectures from the Veda Dharma Shastra Paripalana Sabha that we can follow. And if we follow those Dharma Shastra rules, it is good for us because we are following the rules. Because Shastra itself, the name Shastra, Shashanat Trayate iti Shastraha. Shashanat Trayate, to protect. It protects you by giving out rules. What are traffic rules? If you don't follow traffic rules, the people who made those rules, it is not their loss, it is your loss, because then you will be in danger, right? In the same way, Shastra is like that. If we don't follow Shastra rules, the rishis will not have any loss, but it is our loss. So we have to understand that, and we have to follow the Shastra because it is Shreyaskaram. And more importantly, Mahapareva will be very happy because literally till his end, Mahapareva, he always had Shastra in his mind. So we will have dual advantages of following Shastra. Just like how when we don't follow Shastra, there are dual disadvantage. If we follow Shastra, there are dual benefits. One, if follow Shastra, it will be Shreyaskaram. Number two, Mahapareva will be happy. So let us all try to follow this Shastra rules and get Shreyas and make Mahapareva happy as well. With this, I will finish this lecture. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamādāya Purnamevāvasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So the next month is Puratasi month, Navaratri and all comes. So we will have another session before the Masa Parapa. outlining what is going to happen in the next month. We will see in the next session. Harihi.